We have discussed before how video games do not need to have a great story to sell well. They can, and will, fly off the shelves based off graphics and mechanics alone. However, this is twice as true for puzzle games. Puzzles, in general, don't really need a story at all. If you think of platformers or problem-solving games, they usually just put you in a direction and let you go. Then you win after you've cleared everything. Think the original The Princess is in another castle sort of direction. It doesn't need a storyline to drive the players and keep them interested. If the game is designed well, then it's just fun to play on its own. A narrative can sometimes even get in the way of that, and be distracting to an otherwise polished game. And Portal 1 was already considered a risk. It was bundled in the orange box with other games thought to be bigger hits so that it wouldn't be a flop. These kinds of games do not need to have a great story. So what did the Portal writers do? The writers gave it a great story. So what makes it great? Portal 1 is a simple story hiding in plain sight. You are trapped in some insane science lab being ran by a mad with power AI whose only ambition is to have you perform tests for her data collection. But as you progress, you find hints and clues about this AI, named GLaDOS, and her darker manipulation on the Portal program, the dark history of Aperture Science, and you start to realize that you are just a lab rat and are disposable. In fact, they are planning on disposing of you. You can find secret areas that foreshadow this betrayal, and they plant the seeds that something is very wrong here. So what begins as a straightforward puzzle platformer, which could have very easily just had you complete puzzles with an AI narrator guide, they instead develop into an intense life-or-death battle of wits against an insane machine, eventually defeating it and escaping the facility. What caught people off guard is the way in which this happens. Because it presents itself as this mechanical tech demo, and it opens with a very standard narrator with basic puzzles, you think you will solve some riddles for a few rooms and then get to the credits with a pat on the back, and think, yeah, that was pretty neat. But because it transforms into this darker escape and battle sequence outside of the map, people were blown away by it, and it became unforgettable. The writers beautifully turned this simple short game into a work of real narrative science fiction that made players fall in love with it. So what made Portal 1 good was the reversal of expectations and giving us a deeper story than we anticipated. So how do we do that again for the sequel? Surely now people are expecting to see something unexpected.
I was not expecting that. But I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count.
Well, the writers doubled down. They decided to go deeper and do everything they did before, but to the next level. They again slowly lured you into another sense of false security. The player again thinks that they have it all figured out. They introduce you to a new ally named Wheatley, who is helping you escape. GLaDOS is still dead from before, and we are trying to get out without waking her up. But we learn pretty quickly that Wheatley is a bumbling moron, and he accidentally wakes her up anyway. She recaptures you and places you in new sadistic tests. Meanwhile, Wheatley is sneaking around behind the scenes trying to rescue you.
Hey, it's me! I'm okay!
He hatches a plan to have you battle GLaDOS again, but replace her mind with his to make him in charge of the facility, so you can be released and he can take over. Sounds great. Sounds like a true sequel to what we have played before, and it all makes sense. It has also taken us a long time to make it this far into the story. The time it takes to get to this point of the game is almost exactly as long as the entirety of the first game. So many players will arrive here and think this is the end. They have even had a full 3-act narrative structure leading to this climactic ending. Everything is pointing to this being the end of the series, one last fight against GLaDOS. And it would have been satisfying. Except, that would have been a good game. They wanted a great game. This time, when you win, and it all goes according to plan, Wheatley is corrupted by the power of the facility and decides to keep you here to continue testing. This was not the ending. This was not our conflict resolution. This was our prologue to the true villain, which is Wheatley. This is just the beginning. Now we have to team up with GLaDOS, who's trapped in a potato, which, like many other little things, is beautifully foreshadowed, to put her back in control and defeat Wheatley. This leads us down this long road of redemption, all the while getting snippets of backstory of the facility's origins, GLaDOS' past as a human who had her memories preserved in the form of an AI, and many other details leading to one of the most insane climactic endings I have ever seen. And all along the way, you get this moon dust backstory. It makes the surface portalable. It's what was killing Cave Johnson, who was the CEO back in the day. It drove the company into debt, leaving Aperture Science in the form that we know it as now. The moon dust keeps sneaking itself into the plot in minor ways. It never matters, but it keeps getting referenced here and there, enough to plant the moon subliminally over and over in your brain. Then, finally, at the end, when all seems lost, the game just presents this elegant solution to us. It doesn't tell you to do it, however, like all the puzzles in this game, it is something you truly figure out in a brilliant light bulb moment. You shoot a portal on the moon, and the vacuum of space sucks everything out, where you are saved by GLaDOS. This could have been a cutscene, but I will never forget the moment where I was panicking about how to save myself at the end of this game, and suddenly thought, holy shit, can I shoot the moon? And I tried it out of impulse, doubting for a moment that it would even work. No way. There's just no way. And it works. And all hell breaks loose. Perfection in video game storytelling. A core mechanic of the game, shooting portals to solve problems, being lifted up by the plot, moondust is how portal surfaces are created, both functioning together to ascend to a level neither could achieve on their own. True synergy. And, better yet, the game lets you come up with the idea. You shot the moon, placing you in the moment, and it is your problem solving that saved the day in the most epic way possible. Portal 2 is my gold standard for analyzing how games mechanics can make a story great, and vice versa. They work in tandem and tell a narrative in such a unique way that it would be impossible to tell it effectively any other way, on any other medium. And it's replayable because each time you get back into it, you find more and more details and foreshadowing hints that you never noticed the first time. Each time you play, you find more things about the story, which just solidifies it deeper into an unforgettable experience. It's not a very complicated story, it's not hard to follow, it doesn't go any deeper than it needs to. It presents necessary things clearly, it hints at all the other extra plot points subtly. But a game's story does not need to be complex to be effective, or great. And critics agree. Among many other accolades, Portal 2 won Best Narrative in the Game Developers' Choice Awards for 2012. It also won Best Story at the BAFTA Video Game Awards. This is a puzzle platformer. It doesn't have long cinematic cutscenes, decision trees, or a lore to fill a whole universe. This is the same year Halo 4, Borderlands 2, Dishonored, Mass Effect 3, and other giant narrative blockbusters came out. Yet Portal's very simple story beat them all out. This is because Portal relied on clear, effective storytelling that slowly built expectations, then expertly subverted them with nuanced details and twists that progressed the plot, leading to the player driving the finale themselves in an epic, unforgettable conclusion. By refusing to write a standard puzzle story that everyone expects, while also not going crazy with overcomplicated plot structures that distract from the central mechanics, you can develop a game that delivers a mind-blowing experience that enhances your game and elevates it to near perfection. Portal 2 gets a 10 out of 10 for video game storytelling in my book, and that is my perfect example of how a game should be written. It's hard to get any better than that. The game's story has no right being as good as it is. There's no reason. They could have just floated by with a very average plot and the game would have still done well. But in spite of this, they took it upon themselves to develop and write a great story, for no reason other than that they felt it deserved to tell a great story, which to me is the real beauty of the game. It was pure writing for the sake of writing. They took a risk and it paid off. I streamed all my Portal gameplay right here on my YouTube channel. Feel free to watch it to see me relive the story from the beginning and hang out with my live chat who joined me at the time. And I will stream the next game I want to review here directly on YouTube. Subscribe to catch it live and join me in the chat for the next one. Also, if you want to watch me play other non-writing focused games on Twitch and chat with me there as I play with my friends at random times, follow me at Pen and Sword Gaming on Twitch. If subscribing isn't good enough for you and you want to support the channel more, please consider joining me on Patreon so I can continue to put more time into this channel and help it grow. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon. All along the way, you get this moon dust backstory. It makes portalable surfaces portalable. Portalable. That's, yeah. Surfaces that can be portal onto. Portalable surfaces. It's what... I start that over. All along the way, you get this moon dust backstory. It makes the surface portalable